Well, you heard it here first. Tim Pool was right, and what he was right about is terrifying for YouTubers, particularly YouTubers in the political space who may have dissenting opinions. You know, who may have opinions that, um, you know, maybe go against the standard kind of opinions out there. They are literally trying to put a content creator in prison for their opinions. And this is scary stuff. Very scary stuff. You see Liberty Lockdown posting this tweet. I prayed Tim Pool was wrong. He wasn't. The floodgates have been opened. They are coming for political commentators. America is unrecognizable to me. I don't, you know, this article came out yesterday. I missed it completely. And, I think that it's shocking to me. And when you look at the court documents, the level of, the crime they're accusing him of is insanity. Department of Justice prosecutors are seeking 120 days in prison for a content creator for speaking out against sharing their opinion about the 2020 election. InfoWars host Owen Schroyer pled guilty in June to a single Class A misdemeanor of entering and remaining in a restricted building on the grounds of J6. The highly talented journalist was initially charged in August 2021, 8 months after remaining outside the Capitol. After nearly 2 years of fighting charges related to the presence outside the United States Capitol, on the 6th of January, Owen made the decision to plead guilty to a lesser charge. Should never have done that, but people don't have infinite money to keep fighting this stuff. Schroyer allowed the government to review his social media accounts, likely looking for any scrap of incriminating wrongthink they could find. Owen stood outside the Capitol. Owen and Alex Jones warned people about going inside the Capitol. They knew it was a setup. Instead of being awarded medals for their actions that day, the regime arrested Owen months later on bogus charges. After all, he is a Trump supporter. This from the Gateway Pundit. Today, the Department of Justice prosecutors sought 120 days of prison time for Owen. They want him prosecuted for speech crimes. Who are the real criminals here? Don't fool yourself. Now, if you look at the actual paperwork, this is nuts. Now, this is the defendant, government sending memorandum. Let's look at what the underlying stuff. He persistently warned in November 2020 that if Joe Biden becomes president, quote, it's not going to be a million peaceful marches in D.C. And on January 6th, Schroyer took to a megaphone before leading a crowd to the Capitol. Quote, the Democrats are posing as communists, but we know what they really are. They're just tyrants. They're tyrants. So what? So what? That's what they're charging him for? I mean, the elected Democratic leaders have said far more inflammatory things than that. Schroyer did not stop at the sight of, gas and things like that. He continued marching around the top of the East Steps, chanting 1776 again. So, where rioters would eventually breach the Capitol and its police line and halt the transfer of presidential power. They did not halt the transfer. Now, here's what's interesting. Schroyer did not step foot inside the Capitol. He didn't need to. Many of those who listened to him did instead. In the aftermath, he blamed Antifa and told his followers, we should be proud of what happened. I mean, he told people not to go in. It's not even, I mean, it's complete banana republic. They continue to assert Schroeder helped create J6. The government respectfully requests that this court sentence him to 120 days of incarceration, 12 months of supervised probation, and 60 hours of community service and $500 in restitution for having an opinion. Now, look, we can look at all of the examples of, what's been happening with, a gentleman getting 22 years in prison who wasn't even there. I don't know. I'm not a hard political guy. I don't know the, Webster's dictionary of things like communism, but I could tell you this sure feels, if communism is a thing, this sure feels like communism. They're asking for prison time for a man that did nothing and was there with me trying to stop people from going into the Capitol because he says he thinks that it was stolen. That's his right. They're openly telling you live in Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia, and they don't care about their own birthright. This on Media Matters? What? I don't even understand, what his crime was. The goal here is to scare people like me out of talking about things. There are a lot more spirited content creators in the world. Many may call me pretty milquetoast. But the crime at which they are trying to put this man into prison for 4 months for is him saying words. He has the right to talk about what his feelings are. He has the right to say that he believes things were stolen. He has the right. It is our First Amendment right, of course. I mean, I don't know what exactly, you talk about these people, these United States citizens who sat without trial for months in federal prison. Tim Pool has used his, I often make fun of his Civil War calls, but it sure seems like that's what they're trying to push people towards. I mean, they are locking up dissidents like this is North Korea or Russia, China. They're locking up critics of the government. Now, I had friends, commentators, emailers talking about going to this event, and I told people not to go. I begged them not to go, and there were still people that went. But the way that our government is acting is shocking. And if you're just a commentator, now, of course, Owen is more of a reporter, I suppose you could say, but the guy he just makes videos and things like of that nature too. I mean, where's the Supreme Court here? They're awfully quiet. I mean, something is brewing here. And the message is clear that if you want to speak out against your government, if you want to speak out against, what people, if you want to speak out against what you believe to be wrong, they will put you in prison. I remember for years when mainstream media was saying that Russia interfered in 2016, and that's why Trump won. It is like literally completely mask off. 100% complete mask off. It's insane. You can look at the indictments on Trump, okay? And there are things that, maybe people don't want to vote for Trump again. He made plenty of mistakes. He's even turned Alex Jones into someone who's no longer a supporter, it looks like, or at least not as enthusiastically. But the indictments, when they're coming for Trump, okay, when he said they're coming for you, I'm just in the way, or if that was just a campaign thing, it was right. If you're creating content around this and you're talking about how you believe certain things were corrupt, the message here is clear that they will put you in prison. They will make an example of you. This is the first step. I mean, this completely blackpills me on Republicans too. Like this post right here, is the GOP ever going to do anything? And someone on Jesse Lyons writes, no, their goal is to do nothing until folks decide to do something about it themselves, and then the GOP will go against those people. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, I just, they're essentially arresting journalists who criticize the state government. There's no next step here. It's the same thing as now going after YouTubers or people who create videos on Rumble and discuss these things. I think that's so depressing. The past couple of months with everything they did to these United States citizens for J6, everything they're doing to Trump, everything now that they're trying to put Owen Schroyer into prison. Everything that they did to Alex too, our legal system has become just flat out weaponized for political parties. Judges crooked, juries crooked, attorney generals crooked. They're all crooked, all of them. And I don't, know what their end game is, but it's, I'm done with Republicans. And, where is Trump on talking about pardoning these people too? Like, it's absolutely disgusting. It's messed up. It's frightening for, someone who's going into kind of coming into their own here, who hope to have like a louder voice for this upcoming election season. I won't be intimidated. I'm going to say what I say and what I'm, and I'm going to continue to cover things as I see fit. But the message is clear here from our government, and they're saying, don't speak out against, or we will put you in prison. It's a dark day.